Tough loss for the Sixers tonight as they fall to the Phoenix Suns in regulation, 116 to 110. Pardon me, it seemed like 116-100 as the game played out. Sixers now fall to 23-18. They let one get away. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show as we come to you live from the Xfinity studio along with Rich. I'm Devon. Bree with us, president of basketball operations, already in the chat. Some frustration as I see it from all of you tonight because yes, they lose by 6. And I saw Davon right away with the super chat saying, "They missed 6 free throws tonight." Let that sink in as they lose that game. And there you have it. Missing those 6 free throws. Maybe things are a little bit different. We'll tell you what really would have made this game different if it was a much better shooting night from one particular player. We'll get into that. We'll get to the unsung hero. We'll check in with so much more around the league as well as the Sixers lose this one. We are presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 2 more games on this homestand, and they've only won 1 of the 6 so far. 2 more to go. We'll see what they do against Houston and New York to close this homestand out. All right, Rich, let's get to the main thing as we start things off here tonight. What were your main observations from this one?
Yeah, I was impressed by the Suns, man. They second night of a back-to-back. They have everybody available. I think we kind of saw why they've been the best story in the NBA. They play really hard. They play really aggressively on both sides of the floor, particularly getting up in you on defense, crashing the offensive glass. And look, the Sixers played hard, to their credit. They did not fold. Look, was it a little bit of a fake comeback at the end? Yeah, you might say that. They did have their opportunities, did miss some chances. I'm thinking of Oubre with that fumbling that ball in transition, that Edgecombe airballed 3. I'm thinking of Maxey missing all of the shots. Obviously he missed a ton of shots tonight. But ultimately, man, it's just tough to overcome that Maxey game, specifically when you are down Embiid and PG. And I'm not blaming Maxey for Embiid and PG being out. PG misses both ends of this back-to-back with knee management, and that obviously puts them behind the 8 ball because we know Joel is not going to play both games of the back-to-back. But this is 3 games in a row where Tyrese Maxey's shooting tour dates, man, and it's, I think there's a lot of things we can get into. Is he, a lot of people might say, has Nurse run him into the ground with all of the minutes that he's played? Maybe. But look, Kyle always says it. When you're on the floor, you are responsible for yourself. And he shoots, what does he shoot tonight?
7 for 25.
7 for 25. And, if that's
the game.
If that's 11 for 25 or 12 for 25, Sixers are probably in it. I didn't love his approach against the Suns, switching a couple of nice passing plays, but didn't love all of the shots he took, but then he just missed a bunch of them too. It was one of those games where his shot betrayed him. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Shoots 5 of 17 from 2-point range. That's just not going to cut it. So that's 3 out of 4 games on this homestand where Tyrese just is not shooting the ball and scoring the ball at the level that earned him an all-star starting job. And we've seen good stuff from him on the defensive end, particularly the off ball. But it's just a fact of life for these Sixers. If Paul George and Joel Embiid are going to miss games, and they did, and that's part of it, and if you want to blame them, I think that's absolutely fine, and say, hey, where's the help from them? If you want to look at Nurse and say, hey, he's playing him too many minutes, I get that too. But Tyrese Maxey, whether he was tired, whether he wasn't, just was not very effective offensively in this one.
Played 43 minutes tonight, but I don't even think that was the story as you talk about the minutes because he wasn't good from minute 1. And while he did have he made some good plays where he got some assists, drew a lot of coverage and made some really good reads out there on that end of the floor and got his usual steals. He got 3 steals today. And but I thought that I didn't think the minutes played a factor into it from last night's minutes played to the start of tonight where it was a game. It was 30-27 Sixers after 1. Sixers then have a tough second quarter, 30-23, but they get off to a 13-2 start to begin the third quarter, and it looked like 5-6 point lead at that point. All right, they're going to find a way to get this one done. He is having a tough night. I'll admit it, as I was talking to Rich and Bree, that I thought Maxey was, even though he had a poor shooting start, as I look at, he had 20 points tonight and 7 for 25 from the floor. I didn't even realize he had 20. I still thought he had 17, so I even have to change that. Yeah, Bree, do that for me. He had 20 tonight as he finished 7 for 25. He had 4 for 5 from free throws. He finished with a few of those late. First quarter, he was 0 for 5. So he played 10 minutes and 35 seconds. That's normally what he does. And he just got off to a bad shooting start. He only had 1 assist there. He had 1 steal. But for me, it just looked like after that poor shooting, he was kind of pacing himself, getting everybody else involved. Kelly Oubre got off to a fantastic start. VJ Edgecombe finished the first quarter off for them with the scoring where he had 10 in the opening frame. And I thought, I can't speak for Rich and I won't speak for Bree, I thought Maxey was pacing himself. Not the 0 for 5, but as the rest of the first half went, started the third quarter, thought he was pacing himself a little bit and then would turn it up because the Suns didn't pull away from the Sixers and the Sixers didn't pull away from the Suns. So if they were able to keep the game close in let's say the fourth quarter, he needed to turn it up a little bit. Maybe he was a little bit fatigued, as Rich pointed out from last night and all, and the amount of minutes that he has played. But I thought he was pacing himself. Then he just kept missing. He kept missing. And I'm like, this isn't a pace. He's having an off night. So I read that wrong as the game played out. And I think that's where they lost the game. The defense wasn't great, of course, because there were way too many wide open three-pointers for the Phoenix Suns tonight. Both teams didn't shoot well in the first half. Right away at the half, 6 for 15 from 3 for the Suns, 6 for 20 for the Sixers. So neither team shot well. 40% for the Suns from 3. It's well enough, and the Sixers shot 30%. But it was really the third quarter. Again, Sixers got off to a really good start in that third quarter, and then the Suns just flat out took over, shooting 61% from the field and 8 for 14 from behind the three-point line. So I thought the Sixers defense let them down after they got off to that really good start.
Absolutely.
There were way too many wide open threes for the Phoenix Suns.
Absolutely.
And they have way too many good shooters, even on the second night of a back-to-back. As they struggled early, they found their shooting stroke. And when you leave shooters wide open, no matter how poorly they're struggling, Maxey did not have it tonight, but when you leave that many number of shooters open, someone's going to start to hit. And when your franchise guy, also not hot from the beginning, gets into a pretty good rhythm like he did in that third quarter where he scored 12 points on 4 for 5 shooting, 2 for 3 from 3, Devin Booker really brought them home, if you will, in that third quarter if he felt like the game was already out of reach at that point. Now, as Rich pointed out, the Sixers made a run to make it respectable there in the end.
I like the effort, even if
the effort was there.
Even if it wasn't real, I did not mind
They
the
didn't
effort.
quit.
Yes,
they
exactly.
did not quit. But I thought that, again, the defense in the third quarter was poor for the Sixers, and that's why they lost the game. Tyrese Maxey's poor shooting night, the third quarter collapse that they had, that 13-2 run.
Yep.
And both teams played last night. That's my thing. Both teams played last night. This isn't the end of the world. We're evaluating one basketball game. But both teams played last night. And while the effort was there, the Sixers did not quit. They kept giving they kept punching and punching, taking their punches as well, and found some sort of response. That said, both teams played last night, and I thought the Suns found a groove. They found that energy. They dug deeper than the Sixers did, and they found a way to pull this 6-point win out over the Sixers on the road, where this was one that I thought Philadelphia let slip away.
You mentioned the open threes in the third quarter, and that's what we've talked about for the last few days, the give and take of the Nick Nurse help schemes, where the Sixers force a ton of turnovers. And by the way, they forced a ton of turnovers tonight. This was not an element of just like whiffing at all times. I think the perfect play actually was Maxey at the end. He's guarding Grayson Allen. What were they down? 8 or 9 probably at the end with like 3 minutes left.
Are you talking about that corner?
Yeah. Booker is posting up somebody on the wing, turns his back to Maxey, and he goes for the steal. And I actually thought, I'm like, at that point in the game, that's a high leverage play, because if he gets that steal And Booker was not that far from him. It's a layup the other way. Sixers get an easy, quick bucket. Unfortunately, it's a disastrous play because he went for the steal. He missed it. Grayson Allen wide open in the corner. That's a three. So that was one of the plays. That was late, though. That was Maxey trying to junk up the game. I think that one was understandable, even if it hurt them. The two plays that I am thinking about, because you absolutely nailed it with the open threes in the third quarter. Some of them were from transition. I got to say, like Royce O'Neal pulling in transition off the catch. Like, I get it. Like, the Sixers transition defense isn't great. They made a couple of those where I'm like, man, that's a pretty good shot. Like, just a catch and shoot off a full court outlet pass. That's a pretty good one. But the ones that really bothered me, there were two. And this is the Nick Nurse help scheme probably being too much and the balance tilting too far in the other direction. And that is, the first one is Dominic Barlow. They're running a pick and roll on the left side. Dominic Barlow is guarding Devin Booker, and he crashes way too far in on the help. Devin Booker just wide open, just can look down at his shoes, check the wind, wide open three. That got Devin Booker going. That was one of them. And then the other one, this one actually was brutal. I forget who it was. Somebody was guarding Booker in the middle of the paint, and Booker was about to go up for, a fadeaway 15-footer, which, as you were saying all game, classic vintage. He can make that shot, but it is a long two. You have to live with that. And at the last second, Trendon Watford crashes in from the wing for no reason. Like Devin Booker, that's probably a 50% shot for him, a two-pointer. He crashes for no reason, and he gets stuck in no man's land. And Devin Booker, at the last second before pulling that shot, is like, oh, man, Grayson Allen is wide open on the wing and throws him that shot. So I do agree. In the third quarter, we're seeing the push and pull with that help scheme, right? It's great to force all the turnovers that the Sixers did tonight, but you do have to understand in specific moments when not to gamble. I know that is much easier said than done, but yeah, I thought those plays definitely hurt him.
I also thought that great pulls by you, because that Trendon Watford one drove all the three of us crazy when he did that. Why are you leaving him? Why are you leaving him? Real fast, in the third quarter, of the 8 made threes for the Suns, Royce O'Neal, 1. Devin Booker, 2. Colin Gillespie, 1. Grayson Allen, 2. Jalen Green, Jordan Goodwin, each with 1 apiece. That's your 8 right there. And I would guess 5 of those 8 were wide open when they took those shots. The other thing that drove us crazy, I know it drove us crazy, but I'll say it drove me nuts, the amount of missed layups that the Sixers did have. So when Rich is talking about they did not quit, they ran good offense for a decent part of the night, and they got themselves in some really good spots to make some shots, despite the fact that they had 19 turnovers on the evening. They missed a ton of layups. Maxey missed a good few. Quentin Grimes missed some. Oubre missed, as good as he was tonight, he missed some as well. VJ missed a few. Trendon Watford, where just he was 0 for 1, but it seemed like he missed 4 layups tonight.
He hasn't made one of his last 10 layups.
No, he has not, and the missed layups for this basketball team. So as Davon says in that super chat to open the show, thanks again for the super chat right away to start the show. The missed 6 free throws. Think about that. That's the loss right there. Factor in 4 more miss. I mean, miss. NBA, forget about NBA. In the gym, we're just pick up basketball layups. They missed tonight. Was very frustrating in the moment as they let those slip away, as Kyle and Derek would say, smoking those layups the way that they did for those finishes. Look, they may not have made all 5 or 6 of them. Make 2. It's a different ball game. Phoenix has to approach the game differently. And maybe, as Davon pointed out, those free throws come into play as well. And also, both teams on the second night of a back-to-back, Sixers did a good job of turning the Suns over. The Sixers had some silly turnovers too.
Totally. They like the Suns,
turnovers.
The way they play against you is they press up on you on defense, and they crash like 5 guys on the offensive glass. I will say, when you look at the final totals, Sixers played them about even. Sixers forced a ton of turnovers. They hit the offensive glass too. But when you're watching
and the Sixers had more points off of their turnover.
When you're watching it, and some of that was at the end during the fake comeback.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
Particularly in that third quarter, they just could not get a rebound to save their lives, and it was tough to watch. Bona couldn't get a rebound. I mean, Bona, defensive rebounder, is a tough watch. Drum, I did not think rebounded well, but the other guys didn't rebound well.
He still had 15, and he didn't rebound well.
I don't think he rebounded well. I thought those were kind of fake. I mean, better than Bona for sure, but
they got to do something with his hands, man. The rice or something. You know what I mean? Something.
Well, and look, it was the other guys too,
put
right?
His hands
it was
in some dirt. Something.
It was Maxey and VJ and Grimes too. They gave up corner crashes to Grayson Allen and those guys as well. A couple quick things on Maxey just to finish up, because again, I do think he might be tired. I will say I am going to critique him a little bit here though, in that like he clearly didn't have his shot tonight. And I wish he affected the game. I wish he saw that and was able to affect the game better. Because I'm going to tell you, there was a stretch at the beginning of the third quarter where Suns are pressing up on him, and he can get into the paint whenever he wants. Like he can get into the paint. There's going to be help. Like, by the way, as much as we talk about the Sixers and their help schemes, Suns very aggressive help schemes the entire game. He had a stretch with 3 possessions early in the third quarter when they build that lead on that 13-2 run. They overload him when he gets Mark Williams on a switch. Easy, quick pass to VJ for 3. Bang. Gets into the paint, throws a beautiful cross-court pass to Kelly. Kelly 3-ball.
Rhythm.
Boom. Nails it. And then there was one more. He drew 2 guys, and then kind of he dragged them out to the corner, continued to see 2, and threw the ball to Barlow, cutting to the basket. I just wish we saw more stretches like that from him. I wish there was a little bit more of a plan. I do think he can get a lot better against switching defenses with length is Maxey's final step here, because I think when he's running pick and roll with Embiid, when he's getting out in transition, when they're running him off of screens, it's great and can be absolutely dynamic. But a team that gets up against him and forces him to be a driver and forces him to take tough twos, it can be a little bit of a struggle. Look, that's a moment of growth for him. I expect him to look at that and say, hey, that's not a good enough game for me. I got to figure it out. It wasn't really a good enough week for him after Cleveland, and Jalen Tyson and Mobley also, he struggled with them as well. Hopefully he gets a little bit of a break, gets a little bit of rest. I think that's going to be important. But also there are some schematic things and thinking the game through games where I think he would even acknowledge, like, all right, I got to be better than that.
And see, that's why I thought he was trying to do that early, but as it played out, wasn't necessarily the case. That he finished with the 7 assists. But there were some drives there late, too, where we were waiting for him to turn it up. Maybe he closes the game, brings them home with a close win. We talk about it a little bit differently. But he took some very tough shots because he was trying to find get that lid off the basket and get him some points and be the guy that bring him home. You can bring them home with assists too. And we thought in the moment there were 2 guys on him a few times. Tried to take the running layup that he typically does off of 1 foot that he makes so easily, as we've seen all season long. But VJ Edgecombe had a pretty good offensive night. Kick it to him. Let him decide on the closeout from the defender what he's going to do. Maybe you relocate after that, and VJ didn't find you because of his unselfishness, and maybe they would have gotten a few better looks there as the game got tighter in the fourth quarter, and they cut that lead in. So
you mentioned it.
Tough night.
Tough twos, right?
Tough twos, man.
It's like the ones where he's off balance. He has to dribble around a guy and sidestep and
they all had length outside of Colin Gillespie
and throw up a floater. And those are the shots he's got to try to get rid of. Now, like, look, here's the thing. He's the best player on the team.
And he's done it.
He's the best player on the team, and those players, the ones who have to create those shots, do have to take those shots once in a while. I'm not saying that those will go away. Like, look, when he gets the ball with 6 seconds left on the shot clock, which is going to happen even when you have a good offensive game, like, go make something happen for us. Okay, like that, those shots are going to happen. But he does, I think earlier in the shot clock, in the flow of the game, I do think he needs to get those out in different ways, right? Getting off 100%. The ball, scoring in different ways, and that's coaching as well. They need to figure out different ways to get in the ball. It's tough though when a team switches like Phoenix did. They switched everything on the perimeter and played him with physicality and length. That turns you into an ISO team. The way to beat switching is by getting into the paint against mismatches. So that's part of the learning process for him.
Yep.
That's all.
That's it. Tough one tonight.
He'll learn.
Sixers lose 116-110 to the Phoenix Suns. Now on the season, sitting there at 23-19. Not the end of the world, just a frustrating way in which they lost this basketball game. When we come back, we'll get to the unsung hero of the night. We got to find one. We think we found one. As always, in the chat, let us know who the unsung hero of the night is as we tell you that on the other side, get into the player of the game as well. Break down so much more. Sixers fall 116-110. We're breaking it down here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Guys, do you know what my friends Derek Bodner and Kyle Neubeck always ask me? What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi, and what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, Derek and Kyle, there is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And it lets you stream the game as well, even when the whole family's online. All of your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part, guys. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment included. Take it from me. A lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, that should stay reliable and the price should stay put. So lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
Time to tell you about our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. Over 90 million users worldwide, 780 live events each year, and you get early payouts in the NBA and the NHL. Where else are you getting that? Nowhere but Bet365. And you can always find great super profit boosts, regular profit boosts as well. It's a great place to place your wagers on the games that you love. Also, for new customers and new customers only, guess what? You get $200 in bonus bets when you sign up. That's right, win or lose. You're also getting that nowhere else but Bet365. All you have to do is sign up using the code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5, and you get $200 in bonus bets credit to your account. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365. We did hit for you tonight. Both of us, Bree and I did. So hopefully you tailed us. Maybe you put that one together and you got that one at Bet365. Make sure you sign up using code PHLY365. You get $200 in bonus bets credited to your account, win or lose, when you decide to sign up using code PHLY365. At Bet365. All right, let's get to the unsung hero of the night. We have to give it away, everybody, because Togo said so. So we're going to do that. And the unsung hero of the night, presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing, Sixers leading scorer, VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah, I think he's the guy. And so he ends up shooting, 10 of 21 from the field.
Like it. Like the fact that he took 21 shots.
2 of 7 from beyond the arc. Now, I will say, let's start with the 1 assist, because he had 1 assist and he had 4 turnovers. I was very impressed by that VJ game, but just like I talked about with Maxey, that's a tough team. That's a team that's going to prey on his dribble and get up and try to guard him and take the ball away from him, and they did that a few times. But again, 10 of 21, and a lot of those were self-created buckets off screen and roll, off isolation, in transition. I think that was a very good VJ game. That's something that he can build on. Like, look, it wasn't perfect. He didn't go supernova in that game, but he had some very good moments against a tough defense that, made Maxey struggle much worse than he did. Obviously, the play that I'm thinking of, and I don't know if we have it queued up right now, Bree, but do we have the crazy block by VJ? Because I think that play kind of summed up the Sixers' night, right? Because
bad turnover.
He's running the pick and roll, and he gets it's like a Spain pick and roll, and Maxey's flaring out to the 3-point line, and VJ gets into the teeth of the defense. He leaves his feet and jumps, but I think it was Grayson Allen who jumped up and stole the pass. yeah, I mean, that's a bad turnover, and that's something that you would hope in the future. He'd watch the film on that and say, all right, I gotta back out with my dribble. I gotta do something else. I gotta take a different angle. Maybe I try and take another dribble inside, split that defense, but the guy cheating that way. That said, the block, man, I mean, wow.
Unbelievable.
What an unbelievable play by VJ. And yeah, that was the hustle element of his game tonight. But I thought he made some really tough mid-range jumpers tonight. And it's like, look, I think as he becomes a player like Maxey, a guy who's going to be at the top of the scouting report, I thought it was interesting to kind of compare VJ to Devin Booker tonight. That's a guy who's comfortable in the mid-range, a guy who's been an assassin from that spot for 7-8 years right now at this point. And VJ's just scratching the surface, right? It's something that's not as comfortable to him. A guy who did not have the ball in his hands all that much last year at Baylor at all. And to see him, make a couple of fadeaway jumpers. Yeah. Is that like unbelievable offense and something you're going to lean into a ton? No, but he got that extra responsibility in tonight's game, and I thought he handled it pretty well. There was the one shot of Andre Drummond going, ooh, that's a nice shot tonight. So I think you can be pretty happy with that VJ Edgecombe game within a frustrating night for the Sixers.
Yeah, and even with that one assist that you bring up, I thought he would have had more had Maxey made his shots, because of some of those release passes that he made were to Tyrese Maxey on shots that the All-Star normally makes. And so his overall floor game, his decision-making in terms of when to take the shots, understanding that as Kelly Oubre got things going, he closed out the first quarter, and then he just really made some really good decisions there the rest of the way. We brought up a few of those layups that he missed that he should have made. Still the growth there as a young player, especially when you're as athletic. We've talked about it. He leaves his feet a little bit too soon at times, and he also looks for the calls from the officials to bail him out on some when he just needs to go up there and make those baskets. So really good overall game. And as we talk about the 21 attempts that he had from the field, I just like the fact that he was aggressive and took some of those shots, because we do see him sometimes take that backseat to Embiid, Maxey, and George when they are out there on the floor, and oftentimes with Grimes. He hasn't played enough with Oubre yet, but with Grimes he's played a lot, and you would see where he may defer a little too many times with those players out there on the floor. So I like the fact that he understood no George, no Embiid, someone else needs to take some of these shots, and recognizing that the 0 for 5 immediately from Tyrese Maxey, his touch wasn't there. Obviously, Kelly Oubre needs a little bit of help. Let me do that. So he did that. I'm pleased with how he played tonight, and hopefully it carries over into the next game against the Houston Rockets, when maybe you have Embiid and George, or either one of the two out there against Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets. And he had this block here that Rich and Bree were talking about, and 2 steals on the night.
What a block.
Edgecombe, fantastic recovery there to do that.
Bree, just let that thing roll a few more times. That is, wow.
Fantastic. Unbelievable.
He saw his mistake right away. He's behind the play. He chases it down, and man, he just glides in the air. Like, that's the type of play where I'm like, man, could he get up near the top of the backboard?
The square, at least?
Yeah. I mean, not actually to the top of the backboard, but yeah, the top of the square. And I know he frustrated a lot of people yesterday. Our crack photographer in the locker room, Mr. Derek Bodner, getting the video that VJ says he's cool. He's not going to
Rich P.
participate.
Did you see the video?
In the dunk contest.
He is not. Rich is talking about it. He said he is not participating in the dunk contest in Los Angeles while he's out there for the Rising Stars Challenge.
What do you think about that?
I'm a little disappointed, because I thought he would be the one to be like, yeah, I'll do it. Of course I'll do it. I'm not mad at him, but I'm just a little disappointed. Like, come on, VJ, little brother thing. Like, VJ, come on, what are you doing? Come on, don't make me go tell mom. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I think should happen? Honestly, Adam Silver should have fought for this in CBA negotiations. If they care this much about All-Star Weekend, he should make it. He should say, "Hey, look, this is part of your contract that you sign. When you sign a rookie contract in the NBA, here's the rule: if you are not hurt one time in your career, when we say, hey, you're dunking on All-Star Weekend, you're dunking. That's it. Now you don't have to grant
pressure for certain players, man.
Now the current players don't have to do it. Obviously people get mad at LeBron for that, and anybody else who has not participated, fine, they're not in. But if you enter the league now, you owe me one dunk contest. They should have done that. Anyway, I would have loved to have seen VJ in the dunk contest.
Loved it.
Hopefully he reconsiders at some point, but man, he's just a crazy good athlete. And obviously the ability to jump that high also really helps his mid-range jumper because, he gets into the lane, doesn't look like he's open, he reverse pivots and shoots that fadeaway jumper. Gets a lot of elevation on that thing, man. It's a tough shot to block.
Does.
And so hopefully that is something he continues to refine in the future. I think he will. He's clearly a very hard worker. He's clearly got his head screwed on straight. He's clearly somebody who is seen Tyrese Maxey get better and better over his career. Hopefully that rubs off on him. But yeah, I think that's a good game for VJ. A lot of positives you can take away. Some negatives in terms of the turnovers and not enough assists. Like you said, probably would have had more if Maxey was making his shots, if some of his teammates were making their shots. But that's something he can build on. That's good tape. Go back, watch it, and try and get better from it.
The negative, not in the dunk contest. That's the negative for VJ Edgecombe tonight. Even though he is the unsung hero, 25 points to lead the Sixers in scoring on the night as they fall 116 to 110. Dunk contest, VJ. I think he's lying.
You think he's lying?
I think he's playing coy here.
Okay. No. Hey, look. I thought that was a possibility.
I think he's playing coy. I think he will do it.
All I could do was take him at his word. But you're right. You're right. He's
a jokester a little bit.
He sounded like he was playing a little bit coy. He wasn't like he was laughing while he said it. So who knows?
Because maybe the league already said to him, "Don't say anything yet."
Well, it would be actually pretty cool,
right?
It would be cool if they say that there are 4 people in the dunk contest. Now they probably won't.
Mac McClung will be back.
They probably won't do this because gambling is a part of the dunk contest. Unfortunately, because I think that's the only barrier to what I'm about to suggest. And by the way, of course, we're talking about the VJ dunk contest right now. Come on, we're going to talk about that game for an hour? It would be cool if they said he wasn't going to play in the dunk contest. He's going to be there anyway because he's going to be there for the Rising Stars game. And he just did it. Like, he just showed up on Saturday night.
Uniform is there. Why not?
And he comes out, oh, baby, VJ Edgecombe's coming out for the dunk contest. How exciting would that be?
Yeah, but Bet 365 and the rest, you gotta make it available for everybody. I think he's playing coy, everybody. Think he might do it. Think he might actually
do it, VJ.
Do it, VJ. That's the unsung hero tonight. 25 points to lead the Sixers in scoring, and another highlight block for the young rookie. Unsung hero presented by Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. We're executing here tonight. Sixers didn't execute enough to get this close win. It was there for them, everybody, but they live to play another day. 42 games in the books now. Houston Rockets next up on Thursday. When we come back, talk about the player of the game, what he did tonight. Let us know who the player of the game is, everybody. We'll also let you hear from VJ Edgecombe last night in the locker room as he told Derek and Kyle and the rest of the media, yeah, I'm not doing it. You guys tell us if you think he's playing coy. If you haven't seen the video, stay tuned right here on PHLY Sixers postgame show.
Guys, managing your money does not have to be a struggle this year. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, that's budgeting, accounts, investments, net worth, and future planning all together in one dashboard on your phone or on your laptop. Start your new year on the right foot financially and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with code PHLY. And guys, everyone has the habit of quitting that New Year's resolution by February. Not with Monarch. They help you reach concrete, achievable goals that you'll stick to for all 12 months. The app will establish personalized financial goals for you, letting you know what goals are realistic based on your current finances and how to stay on pace for those goals. And on average, Monarch helped users save over $200 per month after joining. So this year, achieve your financial goals for good. Monarch is the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long. Use code PHLY at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY.
All right, I was heading into work this morning because we had an early morning meeting, and I said, you know what? I forgot to grab something out of the house. No worries. right to Wawa I go. It's right near my home, and it's an institution here in Philadelphia. So if you ever want to go from 5 to 11 a.m., you make sure you hit up Wawa for the great offer, the $5 deal where you can get any Sizzly, any size hot or iced coffee, and a hash brown, all for $5 at Wawa. So for me, I was starving. You know what I needed? I needed my Sizzly, sausage and cheese on a biscuit. Good to go. I'm good there. French vanilla coffee and the hash brown. Now I'm ready to go sit in this meeting and feel pretty good. I'm ready to discuss some things, all because I was able to go to the great place that is Wawa. Once again, available only in the morning from 5 to 11 a.m. If your morning calls for something sweet, then try the new caramel and chocolate craze flavors as well. No need to overthink breakfast. Just grab, go, and get on with your day. Gotta have a Wawa. The PHLY Sixers post-game show. Rich, Devon, Bree, all of you, thank you as always. Hit that like button while you're in there. Like and subscribe to the show. And when you do, tell a friend and tell another friend to pass the word that we are here for pre-post 3 p.m. shows as well. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 3 p.m. show. Only 3 p.m. show of the week. Rich will be back on Thursday, 6:30 pregame. Sixers, Rockets, right here on the PHLY Sixers pregame show.
Better be ready to rebound in that one.
Steven Adams, Kevin Durant,
whole team.
Şengün,
Best offensive rebounding team of all time.
Eason, Thompson, just keep going down the line.
Everybody.
With that particular group. Jabari Smith always gets kind of lost in there but he's 6'10" and he can rebound the basketball.
I mean, they gave up offensive rebounds to shorter guys than Jabari Smith tonight. Man.
Exactly. Should be an interesting one for sure. All right, before we, you want to do the video of VJ Edgecombe first, Bree? Let's do the video of VJ Edgecombe speaking in the locker room to the media. As Rich P asked last night about the dunk contest for VJ Edgecombe, we said, yeah, he would do it. Since we just talked about it, if you didn't hear it, here's VJ Edgecombe's response to the question about All-Star Weekend and the dunk contest.
In the spirit of Tyrese being an all-star starter, if somebody asked you if you wanted to be in the dunk contest, what would your response be? No?
Yeah, I ain't doing it.
Was there a particular reason why you wouldn't want to participate?
Yeah. I'm good.
In the spirit of Tyrese.
All right. Is he playing coy, everybody? If you haven't heard it, first time you heard that, is he just saying, or is he really going to do it? I think he's going to do it.
Well, you know what he definitely did?
And you're going to get some money.
He definitely got a haircut.
He got a cut.
Last 24 hours.
He got a freshie. Got a cut. He was, just running all around. That's why he was able to get up so high.
That's why he was feeling late. Because he got a pretty good haircut and took the headband off. Yeah. All
right, let's get to the player of the game tonight. Kelly Oubre is our player of the game tonight. Got off to a fantastic start, 21 points, 5 for 10, Rich, from 3. He also had 4 boards, 2 steals on the night as well. 6 for 15 overall. Got to the free throw line 6 times, made 4 of those. As Davon said, they missed 6 free throws. Would have been nice if he knocked those down. But he really got them going. Where Tyrese Maxey, again, couldn't get it going. He got off to a really good start. Had a steal to start the game on Colin Gillespie. Went the other way for a layup. Knocked down his first 3. Knocked down another 3. And then VJ Edgecombe helped him out. And the player of the game tonight, Kelly Oubre. We talked about him last night, of him finding his groove, finding his rhythm. Second consecutive game, we said someone was going to have to pick up the scoring slack with both Embiid and George out. We didn't expect it to have to be for Embiid, George, and Maxey, but he did. He was really good.
It's a bummer that they wasted a 5 for 10 from 3 Kelly Oubre game, because even when he's playing well, you don't get too many of those. I think there was a comment in our Discord earlier on when I think Oubre was 4 of 7 from 3. Maxey was like 1 of 8 from the field or whatever. And somebody was like, did Kelly Monstar Tyrese, specifically his ability to make outside shots, which was pretty funny. Hey, look, Kelly last night, that was kind of the more classic Kelly game where Sixers have Embiid, they have Maxey as well. Kelly gets the easiest matchup on the other side, and he sort of just plays bully ball against them, spin moves and mid-range jumpers where he's physical, he's a little more athletic than the weakest defender. Man, tonight he was just drilling threes for the most part, and obviously, he did play decent defense. He was part of the help schemes, not being great in that regard. But yeah, very strong game for Kelly. It's just a bummer that they waste a huge outside shooting game from him, because that feels like one you wish that would be on the road in Oklahoma City or something like that, because that's the type of game that's the type of performance that could swing a game. So that was a bummer.
Yeah, you wasted that one. But the thing I take away from it is he's finding his rhythm. He's
2 games in a
finding
row.
his groove. And Dominic Barlow was also good tonight with his activity, 8 points, 5 boards, 2 steals. Just doing Dominic Barlow stuff. The unfortunate part was they found him on 2 open opportunities for 3 where they really could have used it. He didn't knock it down.
No.
But this is where we talk about when Kelly Oubre wasn't in the lineup versus when he's in the lineup and Kelly Oubre is at least a threat to knock it down. This is what we mean when we point that out. That said, Kelly Oubre, it looks like he's really starting to get back into getting his legs underneath him and feeling much better about what he's doing out there on the floor. He played 34 minutes. So before, when he came back about a week and a half ago, he was on that minute restriction that Nick Nurse and the medical staff had him on. He's bust through that now. And he is one that you can certainly, if you start to decide where you want to go with the rotations, at least for the starting 5, if you want to go with Oubre or if you want to go with Barlow, he's giving you some really good minutes. And remember, before he went down, he was already averaging 17, 18 points and was playing some tremendous basketball before he went down for that on near 2 months. So good to see that he is getting it back and getting his legs underneath him and finding that groove.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was part of the Sixers' best defense of the game was actually at the end of the second quarter. And there was a lineup, I believe it was Maxey, Edgecombe, Barlow, Oubre, and then Bona. And they played good defense. Kelly getting into a rhythm and building back up to the guy that we saw in the first month of the season. That's huge, right? Because that's another option that the Sixers can deploy both in the starting lineup and off the bench, depending on what is necessary. Somebody who always does take the toughest matchup. I did think he lost Booker a couple of times, just like screen navigation was not great for Kelly tonight. They botched a few switches early on too. Like I felt like when Phoenix was cold at the beginning of the game, the Sixers just too many sloppy mistakes on defense with botched switches. Then they turned it up in the second quarter, but then Phoenix gets on that run in the third quarter. And it's just like, you should have been up by a little bit more. But Kelly Oubre, I think that's the 2 positives from the game. VJ Edgecombe gets like a taste of what it's like to be the top option against a team that really should prey on his weaknesses. And then Kelly Oubre, your role player, getting into a better groove on that.
Yep, need it. And especially with 2 more tough games at home as they start off with the Houston Rockets here on Thursday, and then the New York Knicks. That will be on Saturday in the afternoon for that 3:30 tip-off. Next week, they have 3 more home games. Charlotte will be the away game on Monday, first leg of the back-to-back for that one.
Next week, they better win some games. So a couple more guys, I think, after Kelly I want to talk about. I've already talked about this guy a little bit, but Adem Bona.
All right, let's take a break.
Okay, you want to do that first?
And let's give a little bit more time for Adem Bona. So we take our final break here. We'll come back. We'll talk about Bona and the other player that Rich wants to discuss as we get ready to close things out here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Tough loss, 116-110. They need to find some wins here. Still 4 games, but need to find some of these wins, close these games out. We'll break it all down, plus your super chats right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. What kind of dreams did you have when you were a kid? What did you want to be when you grew up? Did you want to be a store owner? Did you want to be a doctor? Maybe a professional athlete? Well, I wanted to be a professional athlete. That did not work out, but that's okay. But I also wanted to be a store owner, and I wanted to own my own sneaker store. Well, while I haven't done that, if I did want to now start selling them online like you see so many do, Shopify would be the place for me to do that. And Shopify is the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Shopify even powers the PHLY merch store right here on a daily basis. Shopify has you covered with the website creation, product descriptions, email and social media marketing, and much more. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business ideas into cha-ching. That's right, with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today. Shopify.com/AllCity. That's Shopify.com/AllCity. Cha-ching.
Philly sports fans, listen up. It's the season of gifting, and if you're looking for something truly unforgettable this year, I've got the perfect idea. You've got to check out the incredible work from Philadelphia sports artist Jordan Spector at SpectorSportsArt.com. Take a look at one of these babies. Nick Foles behind us. Trust me, these posters, they're not just ones that you hang on the wall. They are museum-level artworks of the greatest moments and icons in Philly sports. His collections come in prints, canvases, and even athlete-partnered trading cards. And get this, one of the newest cards actually includes a piece of Brandon Graham's real game-worn jersey from the matchup in New Orleans. Remember? The one against the Chiefs. Doesn't get more authentic than that. If you've got a diehard Philly sports fan in your life, or you just want to treat yourself, this is the kind of gift that you or they will talk about forever. So head on over to SpectorSportsArt.com. That's SpectorSportsArt.com and grab something epic for the Philly fan in your life. Sure.
Back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show. We'll check in from the arena with the guys here shortly as well. Rich, Devon, and Bree. Bernard, Super Chat, says, no excuses, but I blame Embiid and PG for never really being there for Maxey. 40 and 42 minutes on back-to-back is brutal. Playing on fumes right now.
So,
what about the other guys then?
Yeah, I agree that we do have to put Maxey's game in context of him playing more minutes than anybody in the NBA, and the fact that when Embiid and PG were not playing a lot of games early in the season, he was there pretty much every night, I think, just except when he was sick for those few games. I do look at this and say, Embiid, I understand that that's a huge deal, but Embiid has played, 10 out of the last 12 games. So he's starting to play a lot of games. It's a fact of life that he's just not going to play back-to-backs right now. But if he continues to play as much as he has, I think you're pretty happy with it. But it is fair to point out that Maxey, that's never even a discussion. Yeah. He's going to play 40 minutes in both of those games. Yeah, Paul George, I guess he's hurt. Injury management, that one was frustrating. I think you wanted to see him out there tonight. Gets the night off last night. I don't know if he tweaked something in the last game that the Sixers played, but yeah, he wasn't out there in either ends of this back-to-back. And that's something to keep in mind with Maxey.
Yeah, man. I was disappointed that Paul George was not in the lineup earlier.
Me too.
Yeah, I was. And even as the game played out, they were still in it. But had he played, maybe that would have put them over the top. He would have had one of those games where he went off for 7 points to help them force a timeout. Phoenix, they get a nice little run. You win the game by 6 instead of Phoenix doing that. So disappointed that Paul George did not play.
Because we've seen him when he doesn't play back-to-backs. In a couple of those games, he's actually played really well. And he should have played really well because he's the freshest guy on the court. And he would have been the freshest guy on the court in this entire game besides Jalen Green in this one. So,
and his frame would have been good for tonight where
totally.
You didn't maybe have to ask Trendon Watford to play those minutes or some of the other guys. So won't you get to
Justin Edwards too?
All right, Schoolboy says Nick Nurse help scheme needs to be thrown in the trash. So let's just talk about the guys that you wanted to point out as Davon says that about the defensive scheme in general, but also their offensive help that they put out there on the floor tonight.
Well, I don't think it's trash, Davon, but I do think it can be high risk, high reward. And I guess the thing I would say about it is if you go all the way back to Thanksgiving, it's the third best defense in the NBA, and they've been playing this system the whole time. But tonight was an example of, especially in that third quarter, they did not get the balance right, did not force turnovers, and gave up a bunch of open threes. So thank you for that super chat, Davon. They played Justin Edwards tonight, gets his first run in a while, and I think I understand why they played him. They only had Kelly Oubre. They only had one wing available. You're down, you're down Paul George and Joel Embiid. Justin Edwards does make a couple of shots. He makes a corner three and then drives to the paint. But yeah, he was on the court for a lot of the bad stuff that happened. And so that's a bit of a bummer. Quentin Grimes, he was more up and down. I thought he had some good moments attacking pressure. And it's funny, in the first half when he made some good plays tonight, I thought, like, look at that, 5 assists. Like, that's pretty good. Of course, he had some bonehead turnovers in there as well. But I thought it seemed like Phoenix that actually pressures Grimes and makes him play fast. I actually thought that was a good thing for him because it's like he almost didn't have to think, like sometimes he gets in trouble. Oh, I could do 4 different things. Which mistake am I going to make? No, he drove the ball hard to the basket and then he made some good plays. Obviously smokes that layup at the end of the game, which was just like, that was just like the cherry on top.
Once a game.
Of a rough game. And then the last guy I wanted to talk about real quick was a Dem Bona who, and my theory on Bona is pretty simple. Before the shot, I am enjoying watching Bona defend more and more. Gets out, can switch a little bit, especially when he's like up at the level of the screen and players like Booker and other guys are trying to make passes in tight quarters. Man, he gets his hands on those balls. You said it last night. Like he's got Nerlens Noel hands, guys. And that means fast hands, gets a lot of deflections, can be very useful because he also can move his feet and he also can really jump. But man, after the shot gets put up, he is one of the worst defensive rebounders I've ever seen. He doesn't get a body on anybody. It's wild too, because I mentioned earlier that the Sixers basically traded offensive rebounds in this game tonight. Like they actually hit the glass really hard against Phoenix. A lot of that is a Dem Bona. What does he finish? He finished with Drummond had 6 offensive boards. Bona had 5 offensive boards in tonight's game, but he just
he still had 5 defensive boards, more than he normally does, but it wasn't enough.
But
when
he
you
gave
watch
up
the game.
a million.
Yes, he did.
And I felt like all of those were like after like 3 tip balls, and he's picking up a floorboard after it's over. It's like, man, get a body on Mark Williams, man. Go get a body on him. And he just didn't do it. So that was frustrating. He's not the reason why the Sixers lost, but it was a tough game. And look, sometimes you take it out on some of the lesser lights.
We said that we would also give Trendon Watford some time coming back from that injury. Still needs to find his way back on the floor too. He looks a little slower than he did before the injury. So tough minutes these last 2 games. But I mean, we know Jared McCain, few Justin Edwards minutes. We have to give him some time. But if Paul George is available, maybe he's not getting that call.
You're right. And Davon had another super chat. He says, when Joel and PG sit, you see the holes on the roster. And I think Trendon Watford is a perfect example where I'm not sure he's going to get minutes. And we've seen, Jared McCain not get minutes. And, he played a little bit in last night's game. He didn't really play like rotation minutes, got in the game. So he's not a part of the rotation. Watford probably shouldn't be part of the rotation right now. Edwards shouldn't be part of the rotation right now. So yeah, they were thin tonight, and you see with Joel and PG, like, look, we've seen Jared McCain in his career do very good things for the Sixers. Trendon Watford earlier in the year, I thought he got into a decent rhythm in some of those games. He had that triple-double against Toronto. That was amazing. But yeah, when he's not in a rhythm, he looks a little slow, and yeah, it's been a tough go for him. He's missing a lot of layups. Feels very unsure of himself. And yeah, on help defense, he just doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing.
He had that one great block where he got out, Bona picked it up, they gave it back to, I can't remember who it was, but Bona finished the play with the dunk. A fantastic play. But other than that, his minutes have been a little bit rough. So again, he's coming back from that injury. Maybe there's a lot there that we're still just sitting there hoping for him. As we talked about, he and Kelly Oubre came back at the same time. Different body types, different injury. Maybe we have to give him a little bit more time too, because in the end, they are going to need that extra ball handler, which we know he can do, but they certainly miss it when Paul George, as Davon says, is out of the lineup and you have to go to Watford. McCain is not in the rotation at all. You have to lean on Trendon Watford for those minutes. So tough one right there for the Sixers. But hey, this is what their season has been, everyone, where it's the highs and it's the lows, but they're still right there in the middle where they're doing just enough to be in the mix. And the playoffs, of course, are something that they have their eyes focused on. I did want to ask you this as we try to effort the guys at the arena, see if it happens. If it doesn't, we'll get out of here. We'll catch up with you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Golden State losing Jimmy Butler to a ACL season-ending injury close to the trade deadline. The Jonathan Kuminga piece comes into it. Other names like Michael Porter Jr. and some of the other stars in the NBA have been linked to at least trade rumors for the Golden State Warriors out west. What do you make of that injury? It's a bummer, of course.
Is a bummer. What do you do if you're Golden State? I mean, they were a team that really didn't have a championship ceiling. Like, they're just too old. Even when everybody was healthy, I don't think that they would have had like the core. Let's say they were able to get through 4 rounds with all those old guys. I don't think they would have been able to. They certainly weren't last year with Steph's injury. It's one of those things where I think you want to give Steph the best team possible if he's going to be a Golden State Warrior for life, and there's honor in that.
Another All-Star season.
And there's honor in that too.
Sure.
Like when you've won as many titles as he has, and if he wants to just ride it out and just be a decent team, that's I think there's plenty of honor in that. But I think that involves Jimmy Butler. And do you push more assets into the table when I don't know, like what does Michael Porter actually get you with Jimmy Butler out? So I don't know.
There were some rumors after the injury was laid out there that there was, in fact, a possibility that if something does go down, that Jimmy Butler would have to be in the deal, of course, to make money work overall, when that previously wasn't the case. Because now, do you even move Jonathan Kuminga at this point? He's not happy, but that's a mess over there. So shame to hear former Sixer Jimmy Butler tearing his ACL season comes to an end. All right, let's head to the arena where Jimmy Butler used to have home games, now named the Xfinity Mobile Arena, where we're checking in with Kyle Neubeck after the Sixers' 6-point loss to the frustrating one to the Suns. And the instant observations are there at allphly.com as well. Kyle, tough one tonight because this one was a winnable game.
Yes, it was. Unfortunately, they sucked in the third quarter, and their star player was not any good for the first 3.5 quarters of the game. Turns out when your other 2 vet stars are out, that makes it a little bit tough to win against a good Suns team, right? And I think Rich talked about it a little bit in the Discord tonight. I'm sure you guys have remarked on it post-game. That's a Suns team that just plays really hard all game. And while they had some end of game execution issues and whatnot, it's like if you don't bring your A game, that's a team that will punish you, that is a good execution team as well. I thought they really punished the Sixers in the third quarter for some pretty scatterbrained decision making, overhelping, whatnot. So we can get into the particulars, but no one was particularly happy with that one after the game.
Kyle, that's 3 of 4 eggs from Maxey. Think he's tired? Did he have anything to say about it? Yeah, it's again, like you said, it's tough to win.
He actually did acknowledge that he's tired after the game. Now, it wasn't a big, elaborate excuse-making session because he and Nick Nurse both said after the game he got shots that he's going to have to make, like open runners in the lane, open corner threes, pull-up shots where either the Suns had a busted coverage or they were playing drop to some extent with Mark Williams, and there's shots that I think he would like within the normal game flow. So there's some of that. I do think you can see the fatigue seeping in. He's had an insane workload for this team. The minutes, the offensive pressure and usage, also the defense that he's playing. He's doing a lot of running on that end of the floor as well. So it's not to make an excuse for him. He's got to be better, but it was there's a game where I thought you could see the wear and tear of the season on him a little bit. And so hopefully you get George and Embiid back for these games later in the week, take a little something off him and create even more easy shots for him.
Well, seeing that Kelly Oubre picked it up there with the 21 points tonight, really good game last night in the win, also in game number 1 of the back-to-back. Kyle, it seems like he's starting to get his legs underneath him, finding that confidence again in the shot. And before the injury, he got off to that scorching hot start at the beginning of the season from behind the three-point line. And now seeing him again confidently. We talked about it a bit last night when you joined us, confidently behind the three-point line, getting some really good looks, knocking those down. And as I ask you this, I'll tell everybody we're going to overtime here, allphly.com. Thank you on the television side. We'll see you tomorrow for a 3 p.m. show where we're all back together here in the studio. We appreciate it. But Oubre is starting to, as he has returned, starting to get his legs underneath him on the offensive end, and they really needed his offensive punch tonight.
And Devon, he said almost exactly that at his locker tonight, that this is a period where he's starting to feel more like himself again. I think something that is helping him, and we saw it very first possession of the game tonight, is just getting involved on the defensive end, playing some more physical defense, getting I think he got a layup or a dunk on that first possession to get the game started after the steal. And so you get that early momentum going. He's a guy that he sees one go in, he's going to be confident the rest of the night, right? So I think he has talked a lot over the last week or so, like he's needed to get himself going on defense, and that not being as impactful on that end had bled into the offense a little bit. Obviously, I don't know that makes up the crazy shooting night. Like this is, I think, the most threes he's made in quite a while in a game, but looking better, looking more like himself. And so I'll throw this at you fellas. You don't have to give me an answer, but I had this thought during the game. The Quentin Grimes potentially joining the starting lineup thing. There was a conversation pregame that Nick Nurse brought up. One, I don't think he's justified that, and I don't think he justified a guy who's playing poorly starting to get him going. But two, if Oubre is playing well, and Oubre had a starting spot in this lineup before he got injured, and then Barlow, I guess, kind of assumes his role, or PG and Barlow both. I'm not sure how you spin to Kelly Oubre that he's not the guy who gets to join the starting lineup. Like, that feels like a particularly difficult conversation to have, no?
Yeah, and I mean, especially when positionally, it makes much more sense to bring Grimes off the bench. Oubre's taller. He has a little bit more versatility in that regard, and Grimes can play with either Maxey and Edgecombe. I mean, he hasn't played with Edgecombe particularly well in some backup units in some stretches. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Kyle. Like, I don't think you can – I understand the sentiment of – hey, telling Quentin Grimes, like, hey, we're thinking about you. Like, we're trying to find different ways to get you going. But yeah, I don't think you can justify it, especially if Kelly Oubre, these last two games, means that he's rounding into form. Because like we said last night, like Kelly Oubre, when he plays against the worst defender, I feel more confident that he's going to get you a few buckets and play more consistently than Quentin Grimes, who, like, I have no idea. That is the definition of a bench guy, right? You bring him off the bench, see what he has. If he has it, he plays 30 minutes. If he doesn't, only 15 or whatever. So the other guy I want to talk about, Kyle, is VJ, who, I actually, when we were doing a couple ads before the game, so I walked in about 5 minutes late, and I said to Devon, I said, oh man, did he get a haircut for this game with the headband, losing that as well. I thought he played pretty well, man. Like, obviously not perfect, only 1 assist to 4 turnovers, but against the team that, like, is going to get up at you and attack your dribble. 10 of 21 from the field, some good work in the mid-range, self-created shots, and also a learning lesson too, because it wasn't a perfect game for him. What did he have to say about it?
Yeah, he didn't end up talking about his own game that much. It was a lot about what went wrong in the third quarter and the defensive stuff, but the mid-range stuff I think is going to be so critical for him. He talked about that being a shot that he's super comfortable with, that he's working on a lot. It was a shot that he's been very clear Scott Drew did not want him to take at Baylor, that they were a paint shots or shots at the rim and threes type of team, very data driven on that front. So to see VJ as a mosquito almost flies up my nose there, that would have been fun in the middle of a live hit here.
It's the blooper reel,
as VJ establishes himself as a shooter and starts to iron out the stuff at the rim, where I think there are some more extended periods of success for him at the rim that we've seen lately. Eventually he will get to a point where this is a shot he's going to have to live on to unlock defenses. Like, you sprinkle in these mid-range looks and not necessarily the turnarounds, but at least like a 1 dribble, 2 dribble pull up that Devon, we've talked a lot about on the show. And so I think just the diversity we're starting to see in his game. I agree, Rich, there were moments tonight, particularly at end of quarters, which have been a big sore spot for this team all year. He had a turnover or two, or it's like, he probably wants that one back. But I think by and large, I liked the mentality he played with tonight. He said at the podium, like, look, I knew Joe was out. I knew PG was out. And so Tyrese needed help. And so he steps up in that way. I think he's very much what's required is what I'm going to offer the team. And so you really appreciate that from him. So yeah, I think that was a very, very good game from him. And also feels like he's managing the back-to-backs a lot better as well. Early in the year, it didn't feel like he had it in many of those. And so for him to respond tonight with a high usage game like this, I thought was great. Even to the point that, I don't know if you guys felt this way, in the arena in the first half, there were probably 2-3 possessions where I thought he even had more opportunities to shoot or attack, where I would have rather seen him pulling up for a mid-range, taking a wing three rather than funneling the ball to Dominic Barlow or in the corner or somebody else. Because I just want VJ to get all the on-ball creation reps he can get. But that's a minor complaint on a very good night for him.
So the block, Kyle, last one for me. The block was down your end of the floor. Can you take us through that play as it was coming your way?
Well, so here's another little bit of insight from VJ. He's like, I'm going to be honest, I thought I was about to get dunked on, is what he said about that play. And that was, he was like, he's got like a 45-inch vertical. But I just looked for the ball and I went up and got it. But it's one of those plays where that was one of those end of quarter or turnovers, right? And so the compete level and the relentlessness is something that always jumps out, but you combine that with the athleticism and he's able to make plays like that. It is just as impressive watching from press row as I'm sure it looked on TV. I wish he didn't have to make that because I wish he would have, not turned the ball over, obviously. But again, small nitpicking. Very good night for him.
All right, man. Well, good night from you guys. We appreciate you joining us for another night with Kyle Neubeck from the arena.
3 in a row, baby.
Show. Look at
3
that.
in a row. We're going streaking, fellas.
We're going
Said
streaking.
it last night.
And we will see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. for our only 3 p.m. show here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. You and Derek get home safely, man. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Thanks.
See you, fellas.
You got it, man. Appreciate it. Make sure you go read Kyle at allphly.com for the instant observations from the recap of the game and also the best newsletter in the world from this man right here, Rich Hoffman, all again at allphly.com. Anything stand out from, obviously the minutes for Tyrese Maxey and wanting a little bit more from VJ, a little selfishness in a good way.
Yeah, no, I think the big takeaways from tonight, positives, VJ and Kelly, negatives, Tyrese, but also with the understanding that the minutes might be catching up to him. I think that's interesting that he probably not made an excuse, but acknowledged that he's tired because that's not something that he usually does. That's the big takeaway, and they got to get him back on track.
And Rich, they got a lot of games left before the All-Star break. The last game is February 11th. So,
yeah. But I think part of the way to lighten the load for Tyrese Maxey is that, like Joel Embiid, Paul George, let's go. Next few games, let's go.
Don't disagree there. All right, let's get ready to say goodbye to everybody. We really appreciate you joining us. It's time for the world famous. It's the roll call. We start off with the super chats from Davon and Bernard. Thank you very much, Davon and Bernard, for the super chats beginning things for us tonight. We had Larry K. Art 3 times. 3 times as a Steelers fan. Looking for a coach there. Looking for a coach. What up 3 times? Theo, Kyle Wright, Philly Star, who said he predicted earlier on in the pregame show that Justin Edwards would have about 9 points. He had 5.
He had 5.
He had 5. He had that first 3. Great pass from Maxey, cross court.
He wasn't the X factor that Philly Star thought, but we love Philly Star.
We do love Philly Star. Shout out Philly Star. Marcus Blackstock, PHLY guy, and Markel Futz. What up, Markel? Good to see you. Nona, Jess, Val, and Jazz. Hey, ladies. Rodham, Alden Network, SB Cole, 76ers, TTP, and 727 Raphael D Flyers. What up, D Flyers? Nice win last night, snapping that losing streak. We appreciate that. We also had there, you better love somebody, love somebody, love somebody. Matthew, Jeff Brown, Rich P. He's going to do the dunk contest, Rich. David, Reardon. Hey, Mom. Good to see you, Mom. Lost Sleep TV. I'm going to lose sleep because we're always late getting home. ID Nabi there in the chat. C-Kel, Zach, T. Harris, Yams, Remo K, and to close it out, Black Moses.
Black Moses.
Here on the show. As always, have a great rest of your night, everybody. We want to say thank you to you. Hit the like button, like and subscribe to the show. When you do, hit the bell icon so you do know that it is, in fact, showtime here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Thank you, Bree. As always, great job. I'll be on the Anthony Gargano show tomorrow morning. I think 9:15, 9:20, somewhere around that area to talk about your 23-19 Philadelphia 76ers midway point of the season. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Rich will be back on Thursday, 6:30 pregame for Sixers and Rockets. For Derek, Kyle, Bree, and Rich. I'm Devon. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.